Hi guys, welcome back to People in Progress, where I talk all things self-improvement, lifestyle, and how to live your best life. My name's Elsa, I'm your host, and today's episode is part 2 to our self-discovery episode. So last week was part 1. If you haven't listened to that, I highly recommend listening to it first. This episode will make a lot more sense. I think that episode before gives a lot more context, and we talk about like why self-improvement is so important, why it's the crucial first step to living your dream life, and we also talk about habits which you can include in your life to aid with self-discovery, and they're things that you can include in your everyday life rather than exercises, which we're going to be talking about today. And of course, this is part 2 to my new Dream Life series on the podcast. You'll see in the title it says Dream Life. We're basically doing a series on the guide, the ultimate guide on how to live your dream life. So like I said, this episode covers exercises for self-discovery. So last episode we mentioned 3 exercises, and this episode we're doing another 3 exercises which you can do to help you discover who you want to become. And then also at the end of today's episode we are going to get into a bunch of journal prompts to help you script out your dream life, because we've been doing all this self-discovery, so now you finally are going to have some idea of who you actually want to be and why. And just to set the vibes for today's episode, it is October 1st today when I'm recording. I should be recording the day before you guys listen. The sun is setting early. I'm looking outside at the sunset, hitting the changing leaves. I'm going to go for a walk after I finish recording. Hopefully the air is a bit nice and crisp in the evening. It is a little bit more dark and like not the best lighting that I'd normally have, but I've got some lamps about and hopefully it's giving cozy vibes. I'm wearing a nice orange cardigan for the season. I have a cup of chamomile tea. Wait, if you're watching video on Spotify or YouTube, I'll show you my cup. It is the most gorgeous monogram cup from Anthropologie. It's been a perfect full weekend. And yeah, let's get into the segments for today's episode, and I'll tell you all about my perfect weekend in my life update in a second. So first of all, what is progressing my life? If you've been listening to a couple episodes of People in Progress, honestly, so I've been doing People in Progress for about, I need to do the math, I think it's about 3 months now. And honestly, for a third of the entire time I've had the podcast, I've been really ill. So what is progressing my life is pineapple juice and chamomile tea. Like I said, I have chamomile tea here with me today. I've been living off it. I also did some research because, like I said, I've been ill for so long. But the reason I say pineapple juice is because apparently it's really good for anti-inflammatory stuff, and it also contains high levels of bromelain, which helps break up stuff in your lungs. Anyway, a bit gross, but touch wood, I think there's wood inside the bed frame. I think I'm getting better, and these 2 things have really helped me, if not anything else, but keeping me hydrated and helping with my sore throat. And I think I'm finally going to kick this sickness. But what is holding me back? I could say illness, because I've mentioned that a lot. But I actually want to talk about this. I'm wearing a cozy sweater right now, and it's not super cold at the minute, but it's definitely not warm. But it is 28 degrees this week. I believe we have 2 28 days, and then 3, or anyway, the other days are like 25, 26. Like, it is hot. It is like summer weather. And wait, let me do some math for anyone who is an American listener. I've just Googled, and I believe that is 83 Fahrenheit. And I think that is insanely hot for October. Crazy. I'm in the mood for fall. I've had a really good full weekend, and I'm just gonna stay inside with the aircon on for those days. I need it to be cold already. But yeah, talking about my lovely full weekend, let's get into my life update. So I am so just ecstatic. I had the most amazing night last night. I went to Saunders Farm Fright Fest in Ottawa. I was invited and got to bring some friends, and we just had the most incredible night. I'm definitely not one to seek out like spooky, scary experiences. I'm definitely more of like a cozy girl fall than a spooky girl fall kind of girl. But I loved this. It was incredible. So basically what it is, Saunders is basically this farm in Ottawa, and they put on this Fright Night. I believe it was their 32nd year of doing it, so they've been doing it forever. You'll have to ignore the cat that's just popped in behind me. She demanded to be let in. But they have all these things called haunts, and they're basically like different haunted attractions, and they also have mazes, they have a zip line, escape rooms. They also sell and make their own cider. It is just the perfect fall activity, and I had the most amazing time. I actually did 3 haunts, even though I am such a scaredy cat, and I really, really liked it. And I'm going to be posting about it on Instagram and TikTok, which is like my branded post, I guess. But just wanted to mention it on here. I don't know if any of you guys are from Ottawa, but it was just such a fun fall activity, and I recommend if there's anything like that near you to definitely do it, even if you're a bit nervous. And as for my current read, I just finished a sort of werewolf witch rom-com kind of thing. I believe it's called Wolf Gone Wild, and I'm not sure what I'm rating it. I think it's probably like a 3.5. But what I wanted to mention on here is I'm gonna start the Pumpkin Spice Cafe today. And if you can't tell, I'm just in my full reading mood. I'm in a little bit of a slump, like a medium slump at the minute. So I'm looking for a book to pick me up because autumn's usually a really good reading time for me. And I want to get through these books quickly. Like I want to be reading a book in 1-2 days because I know I can. And there are so many full books I want to read. I need to get on with it. Okay, so now let's get into 3 exercises for self-discovery. And like I mentioned, last episode had 3 exercises as well, so that is 6 total. And I mentioned this last episode, I'm not going to get super into it, but just briefly, you don't have to worry about not being able to do these exercises right now or having to write them down, because I'm actually selling on my Etsy a self-discovery workbook that is not up yet, but I promise it will be coming this week. I'll talk a bit more about it at the end of the episode and outro. But I will also talk about how you can get it for free if you're a listener of People in Progress. So stay to the end of the episode for that. And if you don't want to buy the workbook, which I totally understand, it's just a way to make this easier for you guys. Of course, you can just save and download these episodes and listen to them whenever you want. And I talk through all the exercises fully on the podcast. Okay, so exercise 1 is the Imaginary Lives exercise. Write down 5 things you could possibly do in life. They don't have to be mutually exclusive. For example, if you wanted to be a teacher, but also a librarian or also a content creator, like they don't have to be things where you can't do them together, but just write down 5 different paths. And you can do more, you can do slightly less, but it's just nice to imagine these ways your life could go. It could be different jobs you want to do, like I mentioned earlier. It could be different countries you want to live in, or all different things like that. And now what I want you to do is to free write about each of these 5 things separately. So I would set yourself a timer, maybe 5 or 10 minutes. And for that 5 or 10 minutes, just write about one of the headings. Just free write about what your life would look like, what you would do, who you would be with, all these kind of things. And just enjoy the exercise, enjoy imagining all these different paths you could take. Like I said, if you want to do more than 5, feel free. But once you are done with free writing, what I want you to do is look back at the text you've written. Although these are all different possible life paths, are there anything in common? Are they all focused around productivity, or are they all focused around creativity? Are they all in different places? Are they focused around travel? Is it always focused around family or friendship, or around freedom and independence? Look over the text, write down any commonalities, and see if you can discover anything about yourself from the commonalities and from what you've written. For example, I think this exercise will really show you things that you care about. Okay, but getting into the next exercise, I have a couple of journal prompts for you around the theme of what does a fulfilling life look like? So if you want, you can put that as a title, and here are the prompts that you should journal about to discover this. Okay, so the first prompt you're going to journal about is, imagine you have your dream job and every single thing you do performs really well. What are you doing? And then after you've written about some of the things you would be doing, why are you doing these things? Then I want you to journal about moments where you feel proud of yourself or things that make you feel proud of yourself. Then think about who inspires you. Write down a couple people that inspire you, and then look at why they inspire you. What are they doing? Who are they helping? And what are they talking about? And then finally, after you've written those couple things, you should have a better idea at this, but write down and journal about how you define success. And the last exercise we're going to do is going to be all about finding your why. So your why is kind of why you do things. And we've spoken about why you think things, and why you're inspired by people, and why you want to do things a lot. And this is so important in self-discovery. And hopefully from doing all these other exercises, you should have a better idea at what your why might be. But here are a couple of journal prompts that might help you just finalize and really think about what your why is. Who do you want to help in your life? What keeps you up at night? What can't you stop thinking about? What activities put you in a flow state? And now a flow state is basically an activity you're doing where you are in such an energetic, focused mood. You have full involvement in this activity and you are fully enjoying it. It is an activity where you feel like you lose track of time. I can put an article down below about what flow state is, but it's just things where you feel fully involved, fully invested in it, and you don't feel like you're conscious of the world going on around you because you're so focused. What legacy do you want to leave behind? And finally, what makes you feel most alive? Okay, that is a lot of exercises, and again, I don't recommend you do them all at once. Maybe you do one a day, or do 2 a day, or spread them out over a month, however much you like, or go do one when it inspires you and you feel like it. But yeah, like I said, they're all in the workbook, and I'll chat about that right at the end because it's not out yet, but it will be coming out this week, I promise. But yeah, now we've done all this self-discovery, we are going to do some journal prompts, and they are going to be journal prompts to figure out who you want to become. We are basically scripting out your dream life. And like I said, this dream life series is going to include a lot of episodes, and so I believe the episode after this will be about how to actually live your dream life, how to implement habits that create your dream life. But we're going to get into so many things about how to live your dream life and everything like that, so don't feel like you need to know how to do this right now. And also, I mentioned this in episode 1, which you should definitely listen to, but your dream life can change. It doesn't have to be right now what it's always going to be, so don't worry about that. Just write what you feel now and take into account things you have learned during these self-discovery exercises. Okay, so here are the prompts. In your dream life, where will you live? What country, what state, province, what city? What does your house look like? How are you spending your days? What do you do for work? What are your habits and routines? What do you do for fun? What are your hobbies? How do you spend your years? Where do you go on vacation? How often do you go on vacation? Do you move around often, or do you stay in one place? How do you celebrate different holidays? How much money do you make? How are you earning your money? How are you spending your money? Who is in your life? What kind of communities are you a part of? What is your partner like? What kind of dates do you go on with your partner? What are your friends like? How do you feel? And within that, how do you feel when you wake up? How do you feel when you go to sleep? And the last question is, how do you feel about yourself in your dream life? I really hope you guys enjoyed that. I'm so excited to get more into this Dream Life series. And like I said, you can recognize which episodes are part of the Dream Life series because they will have the words Dream Life series in the title, and they will be on a playlist on my YouTube channel, which is Elsa Moira. And like I said, all of this is going to be included in my self-discovery workbook, which will be on Etsy. And it will be on Etsy. I will upload it this week. I've just got so much to work on. And like I said, I've been super ill, so I've been taking it easy. So it's meant to be up last week, but you guys know how it is. I've just been so ill and I'm really excited to kick it. And I want to get all this amazing stuff out for you guys. Like I said though, if you are a People in Progress listener, where if you made it up until this part, you definitely are, you can get the workbook for free because I want to say thank you. All you need to do is leave a rate or a review for the podcast and then just take a screenshot and DM it to the People in Progress Instagram. And the Instagram is always linked in the show notes. It is just People in Progress podcast on Instagram. So even if you do the review in advance, I will send you the workbook as soon as it is out. So yeah, I really hope you guys enjoy it. It will basically have all the prompts, all the guides, all the exercises in one place and all the journaling space so you can work on it in a workbook all together. But yeah, apologies for being a bit slow and stuff coming out a bit late. I've been so ill and I'm excited to kick it. I'm so excited for fall. I'm so excited for everything coming up. I'm excited for the cooler weather and I'm excited to enjoy it without being ill. Anyway, I'm not going to talk about that anymore because I know it's so annoying, but thank you so much for listening. If you got to this part, you have no idea how much I appreciate you, and I would absolutely love if you could follow the podcast. You have no idea how much it helps. So yeah, thank you again so much for listening, and I hope to see you guys next week.